If you've never seen me before, hi, my name is Chelsea and I write books about Black girls who aren't all that nice. This is my channel. I am currently in the midst of trying to write 3 books in 6 months. January was rough. Like, I expected it to be because honestly, I have never tried to write this many books in this time frame before, so I knew there were going to be some ups and some downs and some hiccups. But the biggest obstacle, I'll say, for me is actually like making time to write. I knew that was my issue. That's part of the reason why I set this goal for myself, but really confronting the fact of like, I spend a lot of my time doing other things, and prioritizing my writing means like other things have to fall off the list that weren't falling off before. And so now it's like, okay, when do I get this done? How do I get this done? And one of my personal goals for this year is to not only write more books, but also to just have a better balance to my life, because I can't get up and immediately start working and then work all day, basically take no breaks to eat or to rest, keep going until like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. That's just not sustainable. I have a husband, I have a family, I have a life, I have hobbies. I need balance to these things, and I don't have that right now. So not only do I need to prioritize my writing, I also need to make sure that I am not overworking myself, which are 2 of my worst habits, ironically. So in January, that has looked like me accepting the fact that there are some things that I just cannot do. That has looked like me saying no to opportunities that have come across the table. I am not going to continue to belabor things and to assign myself responsibility for things that don't belong to me. That's been rough going. That's been rough going. But we are in January 2025. I am part of the 92% and I am resting, okay? In a lot of ways. So that being said, let's start with the biggest book that I think a lot of you want to know about, and that is the 3rd book of the Wrath of the God series. Honestly, you guys, that one has not gotten a lot of work. Okay, but let me explain. I'm not gonna say it's not my priority, but that book kind of lives in my head and I know what's going to happen. So I kind of have faith that I can just like bang that out when I'm ready to sit down with it. And you know what? Let me not even cap. Let me not even pretend like it is something different than what it is. Okay. So quick little side rant. Hope you guys are ready for this. I'm gonna be 100% honest with you guys. The reason that book has not been started yet is because I have lost a lot of my passion for this series. And it's not because I don't like the series. It's not because I don't want to finish the series. Nothing like that. But this is some free advice. If you're watching this and you are a new author, or you haven't published your first book and you're just like in your mind, I want to write a series. I love these characters so much. I want to spend my entire life with them. You don't. Okay, you don't. It's your first book, it's your first story, and you're really passionate about it, which is good. But I promise you, there are going to be other ideas and other stories that you want to write. And as you grow as a person, as you grow as an author, you are going to want to write different stories. And honestly, that's just where I'm at with the Wrath of the Gods series. I love it. I love Brandy. I love her world. I love the gods. I love everything about this story. However, I also can acknowledge that I am older. I've learned a lot. I've experienced a lot. And so the series as a whole just feels very first project-y to me. And I'm just kind of like, there are other projects that I want to do. I want to focus on the Lady Widow. I want to focus on Project Necromancer. There are other story ideas that I have that have been brewing in the back of my mind that are more in line with what I feel passionate about right now. So if you're watching this and you are a new author, do not start out with a series. No matter what you think, I promise you, you don't want to start out with a series. A duology at most, and if you're going to do that, I highly suggest you write both books at the same time. Do not take a break, because once you take a break, once you realize how far you've grown, once you realize that you have other ideas, you're going to want to pursue those, and it becomes really hard to come back to a series or a trilogy that you started as a beginning author. Okay, that's my 2 cents. Spin it how you like. But that being what it is, that's where I'm at with the 3rd book of the trilogy. But moving on from book 3 of the trilogy to book 2 of my novella series, my sci-fi space opera. I have actually been making pretty good progress on that. As of recording this, I am just shy of like 10,000 words, and I'm only planning for the 2nd book to be around 30,000 words total. So I'm about a third of the way complete with it, which is what I expected. I really kind of do expect the novella to go kind of fast because it's a novella and I know what's supposed to happen. I did plan out the major core aspects of all of these books. As of right now, by the time you guys see this, the first book of the Lady Widow series should be out in the world. So slight plug to go ahead and get into it, purchase it wherever you want to get into it from. It is available wide. You can request it at your local library, whatever you need to do to get into it. I appreciate it. I hope you like it. I hope you enjoy it. But just a heads up, there are trigger warnings for grief, substance abuse, and murder. So go into it with caution. Take care of your mental health. That being said, I'm really excited. I like the Lady Widow is my passion project right now. It's the thing that I'm really like, I want to get into and I want to spend a lot of time with. My goal is honestly to have that book finished by the end of February, early March. There's no reason for it not to be other than I'm not focused, which is a possibility because not only at the time of recording this do I have the Lady Widow coming out next week, I also am doing a lot of promotion for the anthology, which by the time you guys see this, there should be like a week and a half, 2 weeks before the book comes out. So if you haven't pre-ordered the anthology, Magic in the Melanin, a Black Fantasy anthology, please go ahead and do that. As a reminder, we are splitting all of the pre-order profits with the authors who contribute. So if you believe in supporting Black authors, which I hope you do if you're watching this channel, please, please, please pre-order the anthology. Tell a friend, tell a neighbor, tell someone you love, tell someone you hate, whatever you need to do. Balancing 2 releases within like a month of each other is kind of crazy. That was not on the bingo card, but here we are. Here we are, which leads me into the final project that I am working on, and that is the first book of the Project Necromancer duology. There is a version of the story that exists that's already like 70 or 80,000 words that I just kind of scrapped and went back to the beginning for the most part. I did go through and plot that out like I did for the other stories. The reason Project Necromancer is not done is because I had vibes and no plot. And that's just what it is. That's just me being real. That's just me being honest. I had the characters, I had the world, I had the gods, I had the vibe, the swag. I don't know. Who says swag anymore? I don't even know what I'm saying at this point. I understood so many things about the story except what was supposed to be happening. I kind of had to take a step back and reevaluate what I was trying to tell in the story, because there is no story if there is no plot, if there is no theme. And I'm pretty sure I have a solid idea of what I want to happen in this story now. It does involve me removing some characters that I just swore up and down. I was like, no, they have to be in the story. They have to be in the story. Arr! But I think taking a step back, I'm just kind of like, they really don't need to be in the story. I think I was just trying to make it too big for what it was. And what I'm not trying to do is commit myself to another trilogy. Like a duology, I can do. I don't want to overcommit myself, especially with big projects. My goal for that is just to have that book done by the end of the year. I don't know if it's going to be done in the 6-month time frame. Am I being honest? Just like really reevaluating and sitting with myself, because my priority is going to be writing the 3rd book of the trilogy after the Lady Widow, because that book has a release date and I'm like, it needs to be done and I need to get it to people on time. One of the good things that I can say has come from January so far is that I really have been buckling down with my writing time and prioritizing it and being like, no, I can't do this because I have to write. That's been kind of freeing in some ways, but also kind of like nerve-wracking because it's like, wow, I really have to do the thing now. But shout out to my friend Kimberly Lemming. She's great. If you haven't read her books, you definitely should. She's been doing writing sprints with me twice a week, and holding each other accountable is like fantastic. Just knowing that my brain has to account to someone else if I don't show up. Like I have to be like, well, why am I not doing writing sprints right now? Shout out to my author council, because let me tell y'all something. One thing that I love about my author council is they be working, and that accountability, seeing other people doing the thing, really holds me accountable to be like, what am I doing? What am I adding in my little section of Discord to be like, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is what I've accomplished. I don't want to get complacent. I don't want to get slack. I don't want to get lackadaisical. You feel me? Having a community of writers and authors around me, like who are legit like doing this thing for real, crazy motivating. Crazy motivating. That being said, I know this last little update has kind of been like a lot, somewhat of a ramble, but hopefully you guys were here for the whole thing. If you did, comment the word elephant down in the comments below. Okay, I just want to know who watched all the way to the end. But that being said, if you haven't already, please go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe. Get into my books. You can start with We Are the Origin and lead into We Are Dying Gods, so you can be prepared for book 3 when it comes out. You can pick up the first book of the Lady Widow series, or you can pick up the Magic in the Melanin anthology. Whatever piques your interest. There are so many ways to get into my writing at this point. It's kind of crazy. So That being said, thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for watching. And until next time, I hope your days are lovely and your books are interesting. Bye, you guys.